and welcome back. So good and bad news, haven't we, honey bun?
Yeah.
The good news is we took the car into Mornington Kia this morning and explained that the light had come on, the engine light. They were very nice about it, and basically they've kept the car and said that they're going to do the best to get to it today, which is good because it's not really booked in with them for another 8 days. So it's sounding like they're going to sort it and ring us back later today to go and collect it, or tomorrow morning. So that's the good news. The bad news is we got to the site where we booked in for 2 days, and there'd been a little bit of a cock up, and they had somehow got us down as being a 5-metre motorhome. They did accept responsibility straight away, to be fair, but the outcome is that is where we're squashed in. So this caravan's car is going to come and park here, which apparently is a big 4x4. That car there has to be able to get in and out from that old caravan there, would you believe? So we're going to be very jammed in that corner, and of course we have to get out at some point to go pick the car up.
Come on.
So that's going to be interesting, but it is what it is. Mistakes happen, don't they? As luck would have it, they didn't make any mistake with the price. They still charged us full price, so that's good. Just having a little bit of a wander round, stretch our legs. We can't really go anywhere today, so it's going to have to just be a lazy afternoon. But the good thing is no more rain by the looks of things. We've got pretty much clear blue skies, and yeah, the weather's certainly looked up. It's actually not a bad little sight, but as is always the case, very squashed in, and obviously quite a few residentials as well. It's quite amazing how they don't seem to make sure that the residential people keep the appearance up, shall we say. These were just a few of the old vans that were spoiling the appearance of the site. It's a shame. Just look how close these vans are. I mean, 5 fairly big caravans on a space that on some sites would probably be for 2. This caravan site is $50 per night, by the way, with power and water. So compared to a lot of sites we've stayed on, it's quite expensive, but it is quite near Melbourne. We're getting closer and closer to Melbourne City, so the prices go up. So we are pretty much on a main road, so really nowhere to walk to around here. That's obviously one direction, and there is a Shell garage down here where we're hoping we can get some milk and maybe a bit of chocolate. Angie fancies a bit of chocolate, don't you, babe?
How would you like?
We've come to Brighton this morning. We've not had a chance to have a look round yet. We've got an appointment to meet some of our friends for a bit of lunch. We haven't seen them for quite a while now, have we? They lived in Perth and they've moved to over to Melbourne, and they live in Brighton now, so it'd be nice to have a little quick catch up with them. So we've left Sid in the van. He's just listening to a bit of Guy Sebastian at the moment. He's a big Guy Sebastian fan. So he'd be quite happy. He's just had a little walk. So we're going to the Goat House Cafe, I gather. Okay, so this is where we are at the minute. Looks very nice. Looks like quite an established area. There's some very old established buildings, but some modern bits as well. Drove past some very nice modern hotels as we came in. There's a little outdoor area there. That's where probably they're expecting us to have Sid with us. So this is Clive and Bev.
I'll have to do my modelling trick.
Say hello, Bev.
Hello, everybody.
And this is Clive.
Hello, Carl and Angie. Lovely to see you.
Yeah, lovely to see you. Wow, this is lovely,
So
eh?
the story behind Clive is that when we arrived in Perth 17 years ago and worked in flooring for quite a while, Clive was my boss. And he was a good boss.
Very good boss.
You was a
Best
good boss. You was a good boss. Well,
apart from Angie, of course.
I've only ever worked
With Mum and Dad.
for my parents and the place where we worked here. So I've only ever had 2 bosses, which means, and the other one was my dad, which by default makes Clive The worst boss I've ever had.
Brilliant. That's very unkind.
I don't mean it. I don't mean it. So we're going to grab a bite to eat, and we'll catch up with you again in a bit. Bye for now. Clive and Bev have just brought us to look at Belilia Manor, which is lovely. Apparently it's part of the National Trust. These are quite cool. I'm just having a little wander. How nice. Oh, they're bordering on being a bit rude, aren't they? So is this a property you can access, or is it?
Yet, but
No?
it will be open in the near future.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's very nice, and just across the road as well. Handy.
And at Christmas
They
time,
have Christmas functions here.
Really?
Yeah.
and Christmas sort of last little, what do you call it?
Carols by candlelight.
So this is Belilia Manor, built in 1872. It's pretty damned impressive, eh?
In Brighton.
Oh, nice to have this on your doorstep.
It's beautiful. It's lovely. It's just stunning.
You've got lovely grounds. Oh, Sydney's found a friend. Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
There's the rose garden.
Yeah, that's what the grandma had in her back garden.
Wow.
And she could name every one of them. She had every different colour you could think of, and she knew the names of them.
So it is the following day. We had a lovely day yesterday, didn't we, with Clive and Bev. It was really nice catching up with them and spending a bit of time and swapping stories again. So sadly, when we rang the garage again yesterday, the car wasn't ready. The part apparently hadn't come in, so they're hopeful that it will come in today. So we're hopeful that we'll get it back today. So there's a lot of hope going on and not a lot of anything else at the minute. So we're just out for a bit of a drive, and we're on the coastal road now, sort of heading our way effectively up to Brighton. There's a few little towns and stops on the way, but we've been told this is a very nice coastline, so we're just going to have a bit of a cruise. So we got out of the little corner that we were jammed in. Mel, the guy that owns the place, found us another spot last night on the site, which was better. But then this morning we asked to stay another night because of the car, and we couldn't get hold of him this morning. He was nowhere to be seen to see if we could stay in the same spot, so we assumed we could. Anyway, long story short, at 5 to 11 he rang us and said, I'm going to have to move you, can you move now? We just made our breakfast and our milky coffee for the day, and timing couldn't have been any worse. So basically completely ruined breakfast. The sea looked a little bit nicer today. It's generally an ideal day for just having a little bit of a wander today. It's not too hot. Currently 21 degrees, bit of cloud.
That's a little bit of an impressive building. Not sure what it is, but looks good.
Okay, I think we're coming through Sandringham now. There's it's a very nice coastal drive, and there's some very big, impressive, sort of architecturally designed homes. Some very unusual homes as well. I like the fact that the coast road just goes on and on and on up the coast. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's
Really different houses. They're all different designs.
Yeah, there's all
aren't
sorts
they?
of.
Very custom, probably. We're back close
You get
to
the impression that some of them have been, designed on paper and thought that's going to look spectacular when it's finished, and then in the flesh looks a bit
different again.
looks a bit strange. I don't know.
So very nice. Oh,
Look at that one with the hole there.
Yeah.
There's a big mix of old and new, isn't there? It's a bit
Yeah.
like Perth. I think they just knock them down and put a nice new one in when it gets a bit tatty. And there's a very traditional. Look at this sun on this side, Angie.
Oh yeah.
You-
Wow.
Very traditional British style, really.
Yeah.
There must be a lot of people that like cleaning glass.
Yeah, there's a heck of a lot of glass, isn't there?
You want a window cleaner that comes every other day.
Yeah.
It's a lovely coastline though.
It is.
A nice coastal drive. Yeah, we managed to find a place yesterday to wash the motorhome, which isn't overly easy, but you finish up getting wetter than the motorhome, I think. This is the scenario where you realise having the car with you makes life so much easier, because to find a park for an 8-metre motorhome is not necessarily easy. Even where they provide parking, they just don't fit. Nice stretch of beach. So we are in the Ulukit William Nature Reserve, which is basically just a big parkway, best we can tell. What we have noticed since we left WA is we're struggling a bit for long vehicle parking. WA does seem to be pretty good at providing parking for, you know, sort of long vehicles and caravans and such like. And there's a definite rarity here. There's plenty parking, but for cars, which does make life a bit tricky. Come on, Sid. It does sort of prove the point that we're glad we've got the car with us. If only we actually had the car with us. I have just chased it up again and the part still hasn't arrived. They're now hoping for it to come this afternoon. So it's just fingers crossed, that's all we can do. But today's brightened up nicely and turned out to be a nice day. It's perfect temperature, about 21 degrees. So we're on Ormond Esplanade at the moment, and I think we're still in Elwood. It looks like there's quite a nice foreshore area coming up on the left. Oh look! Interesting coloured Porsche here, Angie. Like a milky blue.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would have been the colour I would have chosen for that vehicle, but still.
It's electric.
Somebody loves it, I'm sure. We've got a bit of a boatyard there on the left, all stacked up. I bet it costs a few quid to have your boat lifted in and out of the water every time you use it. The day seems to have gone a bit overcast, which is a shame. So this is St Kilda we're in now.
Oh, isn't it?
There's the old town hall clock in front there. St Kilda sea baths. There must be a open air baths there. Right, we really want to be sort of turning round and heading back now, because we're getting into it's getting busier and busier. So by pure chance and some careful googling and use of sat-nav, we've stumbled on an ice creamery. So we're just having our last little walk with Sid for the evening. It's about 7:30, something like that, quarter to 8.
Yeah.
And the good news is the car is fixed. Finally. They messaged us today and apparently it's done. So it's a little bit late in the day to rush down for it. So we're going to go for it in the morning and we're going to move on.
Wanna go home? It's raining.
Now here you go. This is Melbourne for you. We've been out of the van for how many minutes? 3 minutes? 4 minutes?
Probably 5.
And it's raining now. Back we go.
Right, shall we
So we
just...
finished up being on 3 different pitches on this site in the end. But the good side of it was when I went to settle up with him for the last day today, he said, "Oh, you're all right, mate, don't worry, forget it." He said, "We bounced you around quite a bit, so on me." So that was quite nice.
I'm just going to take you
So
around this grass.
Okay. So it effectively
Let's go
worked
around this
out
grass.
at
No, that's not
$33 a night
Let's go find some grass.
with power and water, so can't
the
grumble
bin?
at that. We're also just experimenting a little bit now with our new microphones. Seem to be going well. You tell me. You wouldn't believe it, would you? Minutes, literally minutes we've been out. Well,
Ground rats.
That was ridiculous. Even the dog panicked then. He's all frisky now. All frisky now because he's got wet.
He was first back to the van.
Oh, what a nightmare. So guess what? We picked the car up this morning. We drove about an hour away from the Mornington Peninsula and it went into limp mode. Unbelievable. So we got back onto the dealer that had it for the last 3 days. They basically tried to fob us off to the next dealer who were also having none of it because they said they were crazy busy, couldn't take it. So we're now on our way back to the Mornington Peninsula to give it back to the dealer that's just had it for 3 days. So we are blooming trapped. We can't get away from the Mornington Peninsula. So we've had to book in a different campsite now, which we don't want to be at. That's more expensive than the last one. And we're stuck. We just can't get away from Melbourne, unfortunately. Cheesed off is somewhat of an understatement. We got an hour away. Well, we got about an hour and a half away, really. And then it started going into limp mode, doing exactly the same thing. So we're now stuck in traffic, waiting to get back. Okay, so after a bit of a disastrous day, we've eventually ended up at the Chelsea Holiday Park. This is quite a nice little site. It's quite tidy. We've booked in here initially for 2 nights, but we think we might end up only staying 1 and moving on. The car saga continues. So as mentioned earlier, they essentially they can't find anything wrong with the car, which it makes life really awkward. So we think we're probably just going to move on tomorrow and just put up with the fact that it's going into limp mode every now and then, unless we can stumble on getting it to a dealer while it's in limp mode. Ridiculous situation, but what do you do? So anyway, I think chicken salad is the order of the day now. So I've got the staff on it. There she is. Are you living the dream?
Oh, yeah.
It's been... You got a bit of light on. Oh, it was on. It's been a bit of a nightmare day today, hasn't it, babe? Yeah, we're quite happy for today to be over. We've basically spent the entire day driving and finished up pretty much back where we started, having achieved
Nothing.
pretty much nothing, have we?
Just a waste of fuel.
Yeah, a waste of time and a load of diesel. So anyway,
overnight expense for nothing.
we're probably, as I say, going to set off tomorrow on a
try again tomorrow.
A bigger scale, try and get moving and see what happens. So watch this space. So just a quick update. After much deliberation last night, we decided to sort of ignore the problems with the car and just set off. We seem to have been worrying and mithering about the car for about a week now, and it's getting a bit frustrating. So we have left where we were. We're on our way to the Yinnar rest stop, which is a 2-hour drive. We've already done about an hour. We've just pulled in for a quick snack. We're going to knock off the next hour shortly, but you will never guess what's in front of me. It's a giant whatever that is. So we just saw a little pull in at the side of the road and thought, oh, that'll do for a break. And it turns out we're actually at the entry to Gumbaya World, which is a amusement park. I'm not sure how well the camera will pick that up because it is a fair distance away, but by the looks of it, and I've just had a Google, it looks like quite a big park. So I've had to argue with Angie. Obviously she wanted to go in. She saw the rides there, you know, the Big Dipper and what have you, and you know what Angie's like. But we can't take Sid in, so she's sulking now. As a point of interest, the car has done nothing wrong today. It's been perfect up to now, first hour. So we'll see. So we have arrived at the Yinnar rest stop. There we are. And there's some little marked out bays. A few people already here. It's only small rest stop, but it's got a dump point and water. And it's free. Perfect. We'd go to these all the time if they were available.
Here's your donation box.
Here's the donation box. Ah, yes, it isn't free, it's a donation. Okay, where's the...
There's your envelopes.
Okay, right, we'll sort that out when we come back. Ah, the slot's on this side. Okay. So this is just a stop off for us on the way to Bairnsdale, I think is the next stop, which is another 2 hours away, so we'll just have a quick one-nighter here and then move on. And guess what has happened? The engine lights come back on the car.
And the car's been sluggish.
A little bit sluggish, Angie says, so when we're in Bairnsdale, we'll take it into the Kia dealer and they can be the fourth one to have a go at it. Now here's something you don't see every day. There you go. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's got the flashiest car of them all? It is interesting how all these little towns all try and just do sort of quirky and different things just to make them a bit more memorable.
Thought you might.
Seem to have a purple kangaroo here and a little brown dog. I'm not entirely sure who this guy's supposed to be, but he's a hell of a nice fella. Can't half knock out a tune. This guy's got exceptionally shiny shoes.
Johnny be good.
Johnny be good, yeah. Apparently the bakery we've just walked past, and yes, you heard right, walked past, turns into a fish and chip shop at night.
Primary
Where
school.
did you see where I put my pencil?
It's over there, babe. Your colouring pencils.
There it is, me colouring it in, yeah. Do a bit later.
Millie's got them in her school.
Yeah.
That's a cowboy,
Nice little
isn't it?
area there, playground for the kids.
What's this cowboy here?
What's that? Oh, let's have a look.
I don't know.
Billy's last muster. That's a nice clean little play area
That's
for the nippers, isn't it?
isn't it?
There's the local boozer, the Yinnar Hotel.
It's a hotel, is it?
Yeah, that's the pub slash hotel. Class it as a hotel. And here's Angie making friends.
Good
Tin
old
Man.
Ned Kelly.
Ned Kelly. Come on. There's the hardware shop. And there's the owner.
Oh, you can't go in there, baby.
It's quite big.
Yeah, goes back a long way, doesn't it, really?
And a butcher.
Smoker specials.
And that, my friends, is Yinnar. Well, good morning. Okay, so just doing a few little bits of jobs this morning. I just got the water there from the bladder being pumped through back into the tank because we are on the relatively free donation site this morning, and obviously we're not connected to water, so we're using our own water. There is just over there a tap to refill our bladder, which we'll do later today. So yeah, just getting a few bits and bobs done. I don't know if you can hear that in the background there, but Angie's vacuuming up inside the van. Couple of little things that have happened. The other day, it's actually the day before yesterday, when we had our disastrous day where we picked up the car and travelled an hour out of town, and then it threw another wobbler, so we went back and they basically said they couldn't find anything wrong. So the whole day was as I said earlier, we spent the whole day driving round, finished up back where we started. It was all a bit of a disaster, really. The only good thing that happened that day is that I needed a small cable for my camera. One of the little leads that I was using was getting a bit dodgy. I'd ordered it from Amazon, used the Amazon locker system, worked absolutely fantastic, and got the cable, and there you go, there it is. That was the only good thing that happened. Since discovered last night, it's crap, doesn't work, terrible sound, really quiet. You may just have noticed in the last little bit that you've probably just watched that it was a little bit quieter than normal, so I've had to revert back to my other cable, which is a little bit dodgy but still working fine. So the whole day was literally, that was the good bit, and that was a waste of time as well. So it just goes to show you just can't seem to move forward sometimes, can you? So today, just going to have a little bit of a ride round. We were just going to stay here one night. We've decided to stay 2, or at least 2, because we've also realised that, of course, when the car threw another wobbler, it was Friday. We lose track of days, to be perfectly honest, now these days. So of course it's Saturday today. We were planning on going to the next Kia dealer, let them, the 4th dealer, have a crack at it, but of course it's Saturday, so the service department will be closed. It will be closed tomorrow. Every time the car has thrown a wobbler, it's done it on a Friday, so we have to wait till Monday and waste the weekend away stuck somewhere again. So we just can't move forward. It's unbelievable how we just can't seem to get away. But anyway, we're going to go and have a wander around Churchill, which is a little town very close by, and then there is another town a little bit bigger called Moe. So we'll have a look around there as well, I guess. Come with us. So we've just had a quick drive through Churchill. We actually drove in and out straight away. There was literally just a Woolworths and a fuel station, really. That was about it. So we are now in Moe, M-O-E. I think that's how you pronounce it. We have just done a couple of laps around Moe, and as you'll see in just a second, most of it seems to be closed, and again on a Saturday afternoon, which seems strange.
Maybe they're not closed, maybe the doors are shut and it's all dark and glass.
Well, yeah, there's nobody about. It's very quiet, which is odd. Angie has just managed to talk me into a Biscoff storm, which clearly, as you can see from the photo, I didn't really want, but she was insistent. So we've just picked up some supplies in Woolworths, and we are now just about to head back home before our supplies go off in the sun. It's warm today, it's 36 degrees, so it's really too hot to be having a wander around with Sid. The floor is very hot. So it's back to Yinnar, and I suppose it's just a chill for the afternoon, really. Doesn't seem to be a great deal else to do, really. I think tomorrow we will probably head off nearer to Bairnsdale and find somewhere a little bit closer over there to the Kia dealer to go in on Monday morning and have a whinge. Again, yeah. So we'll see you back at the van, I guess. Okay, so we're back at the van, and I think you'll find this quite interesting, but I want to just tell you a little story first. Our situation, the situation that we're in, kind of started probably about 3 years ago, didn't it? When we started watching people on YouTube and travelling and doing all sorts of kind of adventurous things, seeing the country, getting out there, and it kind of inspired us, and that's really what brought about the motorbike trip. Was our first trip, wasn't it? Yeah. That was back in October 23 when we came across the Nullarbor. We got as far as Melbourne, we rode back over the Great Ocean Road, and it was, people were saying to us, wow, you did that on a motorbike, wow. And that's really what led us to effectively, in a sense, retiring. It was kind of the driving force behind retiring a bit early, buying the motorhome and doing what we're doing now. Which sort of, what we're trying to get at here is get off the sofa, go and do something. Don't waste your time sat on the sofa watching other people do it. You can do it yourself. And the thing is, people tend to say, oh, I'll do it, I'll get around to it, or I can't do it because of this and I can't do it because of that, or there's so many reasons that you can't do it. So I just want to introduce you to Jenny.
Hello.
We met Jenny yesterday, and Jenny is travelling on her own in a caravan. In fact, I'll just move the camera around there and just show you. That's Jenny's set up there. So she's got a Hilux, she's driving a 4x4, and she's towing a caravan, and she's doing it on her own. And Jenny has been travelling on her own for 2 years?
Today.
2 years today. Oh, there
yes.
you go. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
No, we didn't know that. That's good. That's good. So, just give us a bit of an overview of how you come to be travelling on your own, and where you've been, what you've achieved, the goods, the bads, what you know. Tell us a bit about it.
Okay, about 3 or 4 years before I left, I knew that I wanted to travel. I wanted to be a grey nomad, and so I started joining all those grey nomad and caravan and camping Facebook pages, and I was like you guys, I was learning and absorbing as much information as I possibly could. People were talking about breakaway brakes and I had no idea, so I'd Google what's a breakaway brake, and they were talking about this and all the weights and how your gross combination weight.
There's a lot to know, isn't there, with when you're towing? Yes.
A lot to know,
Yeah.
but I was interested, so I was
soaking it up,
absorbing it.
yep.
And then I was looking for a partner. That never happened. So I decided whether I two options: I could stay at home and sit on my couch and do nothing, or I could go solo.
Yep.
I knew that I wanted to tow because I wanted the freedom of having a car, and not having to cart my caravan everywhere.
Yep.
So I sold an investment house that I'd had for 22 years, and I used that money to buy a new Hilux second-hand caravan, and I stuck some in my superannuation. I stuck a chunk in my bank account.
So you created a way of affording the trip.
Yes, yes. But I always knew in the back of my mind that investment house was my superannuation, and
Yeah.
what better way to spend your superannuation than doing something that you've always wanted to do. So I set off down to Esperance, then across the Nullarbor.
You were a bit nervous doing it on your own at first?
No, not really. I was
No?
a bit nervous because I knew absolutely nothing about caravanning. I hadn't towed anything for 40 years and I had never caravanned.
Wow, it's a big
So
step.
I set off, I met up with a friend. We arranged to meet up and we travelled for about 2 weeks across the Nullarbor, which was great because he'd done it hundreds of times, and we went to places that most people wouldn't go to.
Yeah.
And then he was on a tighter schedule, so we said goodbye at Coffin Bay, and I toddled down up the east side of the Eyre Peninsula, beautiful, up to the Flinders Ranges, cross Adelaide, across to the Adelaide Hills, to Mannum on the Murray, followed the Murray all the way up, camping at lots of free camps across the Murray, along the Murray, and Albury-Wodonga I headed north, called in to visit some friends in Canberra, then straight up the Newell Highway on the western side
Sorry
to
to interrupt
Queensland.
you. So have you favoured the free camping? You tend to avoid
Yep.
caravan sites?
Absolutely avoid caravan.
And why do it? I know why we avoid caravan sites, but why do you? What's your summary of caravan sites?
Probably the number one reason is I'm a casual person. I like being somewhere that's casual.
Yep.
In a caravan park, you're allocated this much area, and that's where you have to park.
Sid, stop it.
No.
Sorry.
And the other factor is that it costs.
Yes.
You know, it's the last caravan I stayed out was only last week. I felt that I'd been camping in campgrounds for so long, I felt a bit feral, and I needed to have a good shower. I needed to charge up all my appliances, and I needed to do the washing and clean the van, and that was an unpowered site. It was $36 a night, but they go upwards of, powered sites are upwards of
50, 60.
80,
Yep,
you know,
depending on where they
in the
are. Yep.
popular areas. So
Yep.
I just
School
like
holidays.
pulling up. I like getting to somewhere and saying, yeah, that looks like a nice campsite. Let's stay here for the night or two.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
We've
So
found
close.
we've found I mean, we've only been doing it for the blink of an eye compared to yourself, but we've found that we meet far more interesting people who are travelling in the free camps,
Yeah.
where in the caravan sites you meet people that are on holiday.
that's
And
right.
and they're going home
Yeah.
on Monday, or they're here for a week.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
it's just a different vibe, the whole
yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
This sort of thing is a bit more real.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
like that, don't we?
You've got to shimmy in between two.
Yeah, and they
caravans,
squash you in, and you know.
Yeah.
To sort of
Yeah.
reverse and nearly go under somebody's awning to get your van in.
Yeah.
Plus, you
yeah.
might get the guy who, because he's on his holidays, wants to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning and drinking and shouting,
Yeah,
and you know,
yeah.
and he's in the van that's 3 feet away from you. You know.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
we much prefer this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So how
yeah.
long do you envisage keeping on doing this?
Oh, look, I originally thought I'd be home by April 2027, but I may have to go home for 4 or 5 months between now and then, but I really can't see myself going home permanently
No.
at all. Because
So you still have a home in
Yes, I have
Bunbury
in
in WA,
Bunbury,
yeah?
yes,
So Jenny's from from WA, where we're from. So you've got a base to go back to when you're ready.
Yes, yeah, that's right. I've got my house there. My son and daughter-in-law are living in there.
Yep.
And I'll have to make a decision when they decide to buy their own house. But
Yeah, what you're
because
going to do.
What I'm going to do, I would never sell it, because I would want to always
Some
have
point
a
you might need that.
Yeah.
I want to have a base when I get too old for towing the van. I want to have a base to go home to.
So based on your experience, if you were talking to somebody, male or female, that was on their own, I mean, obviously it's a little bit different for a couple, but I can imagine a bloke being a bit nervous about travelling around Australia on his own, let alone a lady doing it on her own. So, you know, what would you say to somebody that was kind of sat in front of you saying, oh, I don't think I could do it on my own?
Well, I think you can if you want to. If you really, really want to do something, you've just got to put on your big
Yes.
girl pants on and do it.
Put the big girl pants on.
Well, you do.
And
You know,
it
you
sounds
do.
like you've never had any sort of bad experiences or anything. Have you found that
Oh,
everybody's
look,
been nice?
I found that everyone's been nice. I've not had any bad experiences with people. I mean, I've got myself into some tricky situations driving.
Yes.
That I'm thinking, Jesus, I wish I hadn't done that.
But you've got yourself out of it.
and I'm still here to tell the story.
Yeah, they're good stories.
Yeah, and they are good stories.
And they're things you'll never forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember the memories.
It tends to be when things go a bit wrong. They're the ones that you remember. When everything goes smooth sailing,
Yeah.
that you sort of
Yeah.
delete that, don't you?
And there's so much to see. You know, I've been up as far as Cooktown and to the Gulf Country, Normanton, Corumba, and all the way through all the lovely places, Cobalt Gorge, and some beautiful, beautiful Lara wetlands.
Now, here's an
places.
interesting question that perhaps our British people would find interesting. You've been travelling for 2 years, pretty much full time for 2 years.
Yep.
What percentage of Australia do you feel you've seen?
Oh, I would say I'm just visualising the map that I mark it on a map.
Yeah.
I would say probably 10%.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about what I would imagine you would have said. Yeah.
Yeah.
In 2 years, you've kind of you've only really scraped the surface. Haven't
Yeah,
you? That's
yeah.
just how big this country is.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, I haven't seen. I spent 18 months mainly 18 months in Queensland.
Yeah.
I've still got to see the other side of Victoria, and I've still got to see most of New South Wales. I've driven up and down it, but I haven't explored
It just goes on, doesn't it?
And I mean, I've seen all of Western Australia, but that wasn't this trip. But
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of West Australia, and I've really only touched the surface on South Australia, and I haven't been to Northern Territory for 40 years. So
There you go. There you go.
lots to
to do.
still see
Brilliant.
out there.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well, thank you very much. it's been really nice talking to you, Jenny, and I hope I think Jenny is incredibly inspirational. Can I squeeze all three of us in there? Maybe just about. I think she's incredibly inspirational, and it's credit to you for doing it. It takes some doing, but you're doing a great job. Anyway, hope that's been of interest to somebody. Thanks a lot, and we'll catch you in the morning. Bye for now, and thank you, Jenny.
Bye.
So it is the following day. We're on the move again. It was really nice talking to Jenny last night. What a brave lady. She doesn't see what she's doing, I don't think, as being brave. She just gets on with it, and like she said, you just got to put your big girl pants on and do it. Which was good. She was a nice lady, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was very nice.
We'd only met her the day before, but we had a couple of really nice chats. She was lovely. She told us some very interesting stories about getting stuck and how she'd got herself out of trouble, hadn't she?
Yeah. And we was also talking to another couple from WA, because they all said, "Oh, we've all got WA plates. We've not seen many of them."
Suddenly we realised there was two caravans and us in this rest stop. And we suddenly realised that we were all from WA. And when Jenny started talking to the other couple, they knew all the same people. They'd grown up in the same country towns and such like. So it's amazing. You never really know who you're talking to, do you?
But she actually lived a long way away from them now. So they were in Wading and she was in Bunbury.
Bunbury, yeah. Anyway, we're on our way to Bairnsdale now. We're booked in a farm stay there tonight, which we might end up extending. Fingers crossed we'll get the car in the Kia dealer in Bairnsdale. They don't know we're coming yet, so we'll see. So anyway, we'll draw this one to a close for now, and we will be back with you in a few days, hopefully with good news that the car is fixed. Let's all just keep our fingers crossed, shall we? Thanks for watching. See you soon.
Bye.